I think, let's see, I knew I forgot something. Where is this? That doesn't look like it's even, this is now a lecture capture room, so in the future there'll be, the lectures I give will be recorded. And you'll be able to refer to them and help you study and all that. So, in terms of Biol, I'll put this thing on the syllabus when I get it all set up, where you can go to this welcome email and register for Biol, and there's 4 of them. These are worth, let's see, I forget. They're easy grades because there are, in the simulation, you're working through these different exercises and you're answering questions. And these are ungraded questions. You just answer them so you can start understanding. And you're supposed to answer all the questions, all of them, every single one of them, whether they're graded questions or ungraded questions. And the graded questions are at the very end. If you do as you're supposed to and you answer all the ungraded questions, whether they're right or wrong, you get full credit, and that's 80% of your grade. In other words, you can't get worse than a B. This is kind of a gift, okay? Especially since usually the first exam people don't necessarily do as well, and so they think they're going to fail, and it turns out if they do the Biol and they do the top hat, that there's really no way you can fail, okay? Even if, let's say, you do pretty badly on the tests. But you have to do each of these exercises. If you don't, then of course you're losing, not only losing points, but you're really losing points because it's like you're not going to get a 0 for it. So there's going to be due dates, and when they're due, you get all those points plus any ones that are the graded questions at the end that are right. That's added to it, and that's 20%. So it's 25 points. 20 points are automatic if you answer all the questions, and then 5 points. If you're late in turning the assignment in, and by the way, when you register, you'll then load the program onto your computer. It doesn't work on tablets. Or if you don't have a computer, in the Chaparral Hall, which is across the street that way, where my office is, on the 3rd floor there's a computer lab with Simutext that's already loaded on it. And you can do it there just by entering in your ID and everything. But let's say you're late. Well, if you turn it in late the first week, you lose 20%. Okay? So it's usually going to be due on a Sunday. If on a Monday you then turn it in, you lose 20% right off the top, all the way until the rest of the week. And then the next week, you'll lose 50%, and then after that, you'll get no credit. Now, at the end of every semester, like clockwork, students will come in and say, I didn't understand. And it's sad, because sometimes they cry. And it makes me cry, because I'm sensitive. At the same time, they're out of luck. Okay? If you have trouble with Symbio, registering it, if you have trouble not understanding it, come talk to me. Don't put it off until Sunday night, because you won't have time to finish it. Yes?
The office hours are at 2. On Tuesdays, I have the lab for that class at 9, so when was that?
We'll just email me and we'll set up a different time. Okay? So I want to make sure you've all kind of been warned. God, I hate making threats, but it's kind of fun too. Never mind. But I want you to make it easy on yourself by not getting into the jackpot of being late. Especially, not only that, these things really do help in terms of understanding some concepts that otherwise you would have more difficult times understanding. Okay? I know it seems like, oh, it's just another part of the grade and I have to do it, but these actually really do help. If you don't understand anything about Symbio, come talk to me. And do not be intimidated by me, because like talking to any professor, oh, it's, what if I look stupid or something? I'll tell you, so many times I've looked stupid in my life. Anyway, and look where it got me. I'm a professor. Okay? So, and a lot of you, by the way, I'm going to, of course, we're going to have discussions in here. And you're going to be, no one's going to want me to point at them. How many people in here are shy? Oh, you're all bold. That's great. That means if I point at you and ask you a question, you'll go, yeah, I don't know. Which is, actually, that's a good answer if you don't know. Right? Sometimes I'm not looking for an answer. I'm looking for, let's say, a partial answer or an idea. But now some people really are shy. And they just want to curl up and die if I actually want to talk to them. I say, so what about this? And they say, I don't know. Or, I don't know. Right? Or, I'm scared. Or, they don't even try. You're not going to be getting off the hook that way. I'm going to give you techniques, though, for answering so that you don't get your feelings hurt because you don't know an answer. Actually, I hate answers. Answers are the mind killer. If you have an answer, you think you know something, and then it stops you from asking any more questions. That's why science is so good. You actually don't necessarily, the answers are like this, a byproduct. It's the questions that are so exciting. And that's how we actually advance knowledge. But in terms of you, I'll do something like, imagine you're on a tropical beach. The rest of the students in this, they're gone. They don't even exist. It's just you and me and a chaperone, right? And we're just going to talk. And I don't care if you don't know or not. I really don't. And other students, let's say you have a question and you ask a question. You're afraid to ask a question. Well, I bet you 90% of the other students in the classroom are wondering the same thing, or they're just sitting there like vegetables, right? So we're going to try to overcome your natural. Well, I forgot, you're all bold, so it'll be great. Oh, yeah. They're worth 25 apiece plus 15 for an extra credit one. Okay. Now, in addition, finally, there is exams. I know you love them. There's 3 midterms and a final. Each midterm has 50 questions on it and just covers the material that we've been covering. So let's say midterm 2, we're not covering midterm 1 stuff except that we've incorporated it into our knowledge already, right? The final has 75 questions on it, all multiple choice or true false or something like that. And that's kind of more cumulative. So, and as you can see from the breakdown, midterm 1, 2, and 3 are all worth 40 points out of 300, so that's 120. Top Hat is worth up to 50 points. And then the Symbio is each worth 25 or 75 points. And that's 300. But there's an extra Symbio extra credit. And that's an extra 15 points if you do that. Okay? So that's the kind of course breakdown. Now, I know that, like I said, students oftentimes don't read the syllabus. It's there to refer to. If you want to know something, and let's say you email me or come to my office hours, just look at the syllabus first. So that you don't ask like, oh, what room is midterm 1 in? In this room. Okay, things that you can actually figure out on your own. Or when is this assignment due? It'll say on Canvas what the whole schedule is. Oh yeah. Okay. This is the point structure. 90 to 100 is A. A minus is 87.5 to 89.999, and so on. Don't plead for points. I don't really like it. I know that it's important, of course, to have good grades, but you have a lot of opportunity to get good grades in this class. Withdrawals. You can withdraw anytime from this class in the first 3 weeks. Make sure you go online and withdraw, but otherwise, if you're still enrolled and you didn't withdraw, you'll get a WU, which is like an F. Okay? So, now, after the first 3 weeks, or the 4th week on, you have to have a really valid excuse for withdrawing from the class. Like, not doing well is not one of the excuses. It has to be something like you're really sick, let's say you got in a car accident or something, or a family emergency. Grandma died. Turns out Grandma has been dying every semester for you since you've been in school. Grandmas tend to do that, right? They're great because even after they actually do die, they keep giving excuses for not doing something. But anyway, you can then withdraw. You have to write out some form and have me sign it. You can even have, now, after I think the 13th week, you can, then it has to be a medical emergency that happened to you. And, or even after the semester. It's called a retroactive withdrawal, and you actually have to withdraw basically from all your classes. Okay? If something comes up with you, any of you, let me know about it, and we'll figure something out. Okay? I am accommodating. Oh, I know. Accommodation. So, I try to give people enough time to finish everything, especially the exams. So, the exams are for 75 minutes. There's 50 questions. Oftentimes, even if people haven't quite finished, let's say, for some reason, I'll let them come to my office and finish it up. If you have special accommodations for disability, you get extra time and a half or something like that through DRES. It's called alternative testing form, so you have to fill that out. Academic dishonesty, we've already talked about that, where your job is to cheat and not get caught, and mine is to catch you, like the cheetah and the gazelle. And this is so that you'll understand antagonistic coevolution. It's actually part of your learning experience. So just be good at not getting caught. Okay? Okay. So actually, try to be, don't go plagiarizing, don't whatever. It's just, if you don't know it, you don't know it. Now, let's see, study tips. So there's lecture capture for each lecture. They just put it in this room. And you'll be able to go to the website and actually watch each lecture as often as you want. So let's say it's better if you guys show up every lecture, because we're going to be doing Top Hat, and if you don't show up, you won't be getting credit for that. Okay? But let's say you miss a lecture. It'll be there. You can watch it. Also, it tends to help, let's say you're studying for a test, to actually go back. When you're in class and you're listening to me, or we're taking notes, actually distracts you from actually listening and trying to understand. There will be a PDF of all the lectures, slides that you can access. In fact, there'll be 3 slides to each sheet, and you can write notes on them. But it's almost better to pay attention in class and then go back afterwards and look at the lecture and take notes, more detailed notes. And then write down some questions that you don't understand, and then you can contact me. Obviously, more difficult concepts and questions, just write those down, and then we can discuss them. You can bring it up in class. You can send me an email. You can come to my office hours. The third one is come to my office hours. Read the stuff the little reading that you have to do before class. The classroom community, of course. Oh, okay. And let's see. So, Office of Equity and Diversity deals with freedom of speech, discrimination, sexual violence. If I say anything that's offensive, you can report me. I already told you that, and I already have said probably something offensive. But I'm not going to do it gratuitously, something offensive. I'm just going to use it like the pregnancy thing, so you kind of understand a certain concept. Oh yeah, anybody know what trigger warnings are? You know, we're going to deal with some subjects that might be cause some students trepidation. This is biology. So essentially, it's all about sex and death. That's what biology is all about. Having as much sex as possible while avoiding the latter at all costs. Okay? So some of the stuff we're going to deal with, you might find problematic, but we're going to deal with it in a very straightforward sort of way. And then there's a policy on be nice to everybody. Actually, gender discrimination and all that. I don't believe, well, let's put it this way. When I was growing up, women didn't go into science. In fact, that's why I actually became a film editor for like 20 years. So that's where the girls were, right? I mean, I had my priorities were straight. Namely, you know, as many offspring as possible. Okay. But that's changed. It was thought, you know, that women are no good at mathematics, or, God, what a bunch of hogwash. First of all, I have a low aptitude for mathematics, but I got through calculus. But I know lots and lots of all kinds of people, including women, who are brilliant in mathematics. They just get it, okay? So this idea that, oh, women don't go into science, or that this community doesn't do that, or it's BS. It doesn't mean you naturally have an aptitude for something, but every aspect of education is kind of open to you. You find your place in it. But like I said, there's a like a Nobel Prize sort of thing for mathematicians called the Fields Medal. I think a few years ago, finally, the first woman actually got the Fields Medal. Took long enough. And of course, nowadays, biology is full of all genders. Geology is still a little bit behind the times.